The galaxy had never been quieter. At least, not like this. One moment, star systems were alive with activity, trading ships moving between planets, alien fleets patrolling the borders, and endless streams of messages crossing the vast networks of the galactic communication system. The next, nothing. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. Every species felt it at the same moment. The messages stopped coming. Entire communication hubs went dark. Systems that had thrived for centuries suddenly seemed abandoned. On board the massive capital station of the Siler Dominion, the council members stared at their holographic displays in disbelief. Worlds were vanishing from the network one by one, and fleets, countless fleets, were gone without a trace. Impossible, whispered High Admiral Korth. His voice trembled, though he tried to hide it. This can't be natural. Every fleet, every planet just disappeared. Panic began to spread like wildfire. Alien leaders, who had grown used to their own arrogance, now felt the creeping sense of helplessness. Across the galaxy, ships scrambled, systems fired warning signals, and every available scanner was deployed. But there was no pattern, no logic, only silence. The galaxy was falling, and no one knew why. Meanwhile, on a tiny blue planet in an ordinary solar system, life continued as usual. Humans went about their days, completely unaware that their galaxy was crumbling. In New York, a man jogged his dog through Central Park. In Mumbai, a teenager argued with her mother over homework. In a small research lab in Buenos Aires, a few scientists noticed strange blips on their monitors, but no one outside the lab seemed to care. Dr. Elena Rivera was one of those few who noticed. She had been monitoring deep, space communication signals for anomalies, tiny deviations that others would have ignored. And tonight, those deviations were screaming at her. The signals, they're disappearing. She muttered to her colleague Thomas, her eyes wide as numbers flickered across the screen. It's not interference. Something is erasing the network. Thomas frowned, rubbing his temples. Elena, calm down. Maybe it's just a solar flare or some glitch. We've seen false readings before. She shook her head, her long hair falling over her shoulders. No, this isn't a glitch. Look at the data. Entire fleets, entire colonies gone. Overnight. And if the rest of the galaxy knew, we'd see alerts everywhere. But we don't. It's like Earth was never part of it. Outside, the night sky glittered as always, oblivious to the chaos. Humans looked up at the stars and wondered about distant worlds, but no one realized how close they had come to witnessing the destruction firsthand. Alien fleets vanished, and with them, centuries of history, trade, war, and diplomacy. Civilizations that had once ruled swaths of space now existed only as echoes fading into the void. Dr. Rivera leaned back in her chair, heart pounding. If this is real, and it probably is, humanity might be the only ones left untouched. The galaxy could be collapsing, and we wouldn't even know it yet. Thomas's eyes widened. You mean we could be the last ones standing? Elena didn't answer. She stared at the flickering screens, imagining the horror. She couldn't see alien families fleeing across star systems, warships chasing shadows that no longer existed, entire civilizations wiped from the galaxy overnight. And yet on Earth, nothing had happened. Humans slept. Humans worked. Humans argued about coffee and homework and traffic jams, completely unaware that the universe outside their sky was dying. Far above Earth, alien scouts tried one last time to reach out. They sent messages, beacons, even desperation signals. Every attempt failed. The networks they had relied on for centuries had been erased. One by one, they vanished too. No one would know their fate. No one would mourn them. And yet, Earth remained untouched, unseen. Untouched. A single blue planet in a dead galaxy, while the galaxy fell apart in hours. Elena whispered, staring at the stars beyond her lab window. Humans slept, completely unaware. What did they miss? Somewhere deep in the void, the remnants of the galaxy's most advanced fleets drifted silently, and somewhere on Earth, life went on, blissfully ignorant that the universe had changed forever. The galaxy was dying, and the few survivors were desperate. Alien fleets that had survived the initial collapse now drifted through empty space, their crews shaken and confused. Star systems that had once been bustling with life were now little more than cold, dark shells. Planets that had supported millions of beings now floated silently, their cities reduced to rubble. On board the Eloria, a massive scout vessel, Ambassador Kalara pounded at her console. She tried to send messages to every known civilization. Please respond, she repeated over and over. Anyone, tell us you are alive. Every attempt failed. Every channel went silent. The galaxy's communication network, the web that had linked millions of planets, was gone, dead, nothing worked. Even signals sent through the fastest, most secure channels disappeared before they could reach another system. Kalara turned to her crew, her eyes wide with fear. We have to warn them. Someone must survive this, someone must know. Her second-in-command, Lieutenant Vorn, shook his head. We tried. Every system, every channel. The network is gone. We are alone. Meanwhile, far below in Earth's orbit, human scientists were beginning to notice strange phenomena. The International Space Observatory detected gravitational waves unlike anything recorded before. The readings were huge, sudden, and spreading fast. Dr. Ravi Patel frowned at his monitor. These waves, they're massive but irregular. Could be some cosmic event. Nothing to worry about yet. Or it could be something else. His assistant, Maya, suggested cautiously. It's just strange. We haven't seen anything like this. Ravi nodded, but like many humans, he dismissed it. Space was mysterious after all. There were anomalies every day, and humanity had learned to live with them. Life on Earth went on, mostly unaware of the chaos spreading across the galaxy. Meanwhile, high above, a lone alien scout ship moved silently through the wreckage of a shattered system. Captain Irek had watched entire planets dissolve into nothingness. Cities, forests, oceans, gone in moments, leaving only glowing fragments drifting in the void. He had never seen destruction like this. It wasn't war. It wasn't an accident. It was the collapse of everything. He recorded a message on the ship's universal channel, hoping somehow Earth or someone would receive it. To any species that survives, the galaxy is gone. Systems are collapsing. Civilizations erased. If you are alive, prepare. Danger spreads faster than any war we have known. Please listen. Irek sent the message. He waited. For hours he waited. Nothing. No acknowledgement. No signal. The galaxy had no place for survivors anymore. On Earth, people slept and worked, argued and laughed. Children ran in playgrounds, unaware of the distant horrors unfolding above them. Scientists tried to make sense of anomalies in the stars, but their warnings never reached the public. Humanity was untouched, but they were unknowingly standing on the edge of disaster. Back in the wreckage, Kalara and Irek finally met in a temporary fleet command hub. The few surviving ships tried to coordinate a plan, but without communication, nothing could be done. We are ghosts now, Kalara said softly. The galaxy forgot us. And Earth, they don't even know what's coming. Irek's voice was grim. We are trying to send messages to every system, but the network itself has disappeared. No one can hear us. Earth, it is alone. And so, as the alien survivors struggled in empty space, Earth remained untouched. Humans continued their lives, oblivious to the fact that the galaxy around them was dead. The sun rose and set, children went to school, workers went to their offices, and the night sky glittered as always, bright, peaceful, and unaware. Yet the danger was not gone. It was waiting. The galaxy had fallen, civilizations erased, fleets vanished, and humans, untested, unprepared, and unaware, were the last untouched species. They were standing at the very edge of a galaxy-wide disaster, and their survival would depend not on luck, but on their courage, intelligence, and ability to adapt. Somewhere far away, Irek watched the stars, recording more fragments of his warning. Earth, pay attention. You are the last chance, he whispered to himself. But Earth did not hear him. Not yet. The silence around the planet was perfect. Humans had no idea that above them, entire civilizations had disappeared overnight. They had no warning, no clue. And as the galaxy collapsed piece by piece, humans unknowingly carried the hope of survival on their shoulders. The calm before the storm stretched across the empty galaxy, waiting for the moment humans would finally notice. And when they did, everything would change. The first signs were subtle. A few astronomers noticed stars flickering and disappearing, signals from distant systems suddenly going dark. At first, the changes were dismissed as sensor errors, glitches, or natural cosmic events. But soon, the anomalies became impossible to ignore. Entire fleets were missing, and communications from hundreds of alien civilizations had vanished overnight. At the United Nations Space Observatory, alarms began to sound. Screens lit up with red warnings, and the room buzzed with activity. Scientists scrolled through data faster than their eyes could follow. Dr. Elena Rivera, who had been one of the first humans to notice strange signals in the past, now stared at the screens with sharp focus. "It's not random," she said, her voice calm but urgent. "Something, or someone, is sweeping through the galaxy. Look at this pattern. Systems, fleets, entire civilizations disappearing." Her colleague, Dr. Ravi Patel, shook his head in disbelief. "You're saying the galaxy is collapsing? That's impossible. There's no force big enough to do this, right?" Elena didn't answer. She didn't need to. The evidence was clear. For the first time in centuries, humans were seeing the galaxy in chaos. But unlike other species, they did not panic. They did not scream, fight, or run. They studied, analyzed, and prepared. Military leaders joined the scientists in the observatory. Admiral Leela Chen, in her crisp uniform, tapped on her console. If the reports are accurate, we need to treat this like an emergency. We need strategy, not fear. Gather all data, analyze it, map the collapse, and prepare our defense systems just in case. Her calm, calculated approach set the tone. Humans were not used to alien wars, nor had they ever faced galaxy-wide disasters. But humanity's greatest strength, its ability to adapt, kicked in immediately. Teams worked day and night, combining scientific analysis with military preparedness. Satellites were recalibrated to detect anomalies, planetary defense systems were put on standby, and space probes were sent toward the disappearing star systems. Meanwhile, beyond the edge of the solar system, a faint beacon floated through the void. Its signal was weak, fragmented, almost unreadable. It came from the last surviving alien scout, Arek, who had watched civilizations vanish. Desperate, he sent his final message into the empty galaxy, hoping against hope that anyone would hear it. The beacon reached Earth. At first, the signal was almost dismissed as interference. But Alina and Ravi noticed a pattern. They isolated the source and decrypted the fragments. The message, though broken, was chilling. The galaxy has fallen, beware. The room went silent. Scientists and military leaders stared at the decrypted message, realizing the weight of what they had just received. For the first time, humanity understood the scale of the disaster. Yet, there was no fear, no chaos. Humans did what they always did best. They analyzed. They worked through every possible scenario. Where were the alien civilizations? Could there be a natural force behind this collapse? Or something else? Across the world, similar scenes played out. Space agencies, private companies, and independent observatories began coordinating in ways that no other species in the galaxy had ever done. Data was shared openly. Solutions were discussed calmly. Humans didn't fight blindly. They prepared intelligently. Admiral Chen addressed the global team through a secure link. We don't know what's coming. We don't know how fast it will reach us. But we do know this: we are the last untouched civilization. That is our advantage, and we will use it wisely. Alina nodded. We need to monitor everything, predict the next collapses, and act before the threat reaches Earth. Every piece of data matters. Every calculation could save lives. And so, humanity began its first move. The galaxy was falling. Alien civilizations were gone, and yet Earth remained untouched. Humans were standing alone at the edge of disaster. But unlike the species that had vanished, they were calm, calculated, and ready. The faint distress beacon continued to pulse through space, its fragmented warning etched in their minds. The galaxy has fallen, beware. Earth had received the first warning. And for the first time in history, humans were the last hope for survival in a collapsing galaxy. The question was no longer whether Earth would survive, but how humans would respond. The galaxy was silent, dead, or at least almost. From Earth's orbit, humans now watched the stars differently. The disappearance of alien civilizations had left the galaxy eerily quiet, but it was no longer a threat. For the first time, humanity realized that the universe was theirs to explore. Admiral Lila Chen stood on the command deck of the new Earth exploration flagship, Horizon. Behind her, huge screens displayed maps of star systems once dominated by alien powers. Humans had studied these systems from afar for decades, but now, with no aliens left, there were no restrictions, no wars, no diplomacy, just the stars open for exploration. Prepare the ships, Chen ordered. Her voice was calm but firm. Scan every system. Look for anomalies, dangers, and resources, and report everything. The fleet of exploration ships spread across the galaxy, moving carefully. Every jump through hyperspace was calculated. Humans were cautious, even though there were no known enemies. This was their advantage: patience, observation, and careful planning. On board the Horizon, Dr. Elena Rivera and her team of scientists examined abandoned alien stations and drifting warships. The technology was astonishing, far beyond anything humans had imagined. Yet, humans had a gift: adaptability. Within days, they began understanding systems that had baffled even the most advanced alien engineers for centuries. Look at this, Elena said, pointing to a holographic display. These energy cores, they're similar to ours, but scaled up. We can reverse engineer parts of this. We can understand it. Her assistant, Ravi Patel, smiled. We might not just survive, we might thrive. Faster than anyone expected. The Earth fleet moved carefully, scanning every system. Some planets were completely empty, their cities frozen in time. Some stations still orbited their stars, dark and lifeless. Warships floated silently, weapons cold and useless. The galaxy had been abandoned in a hurry, leaving humans with the keys to what had once been the most advanced civilizations. Yet, humanity's victory was far from guaranteed. As they explored further, sensors detected something strange. At first, it was small, a ripple in the gravitational readings, a faint glow at the edge of known space. But soon it became massive. "Admiral," reported Lieutenant Vorn, his voice tense, "we're detecting a fleet. But it's not alien. It's something else, something enormous. It's moving fast, heading this way." On the screens, the sensors displayed a terrifying sight. A chain reaction of cosmic energy, like a wave of stars collapsing into each other, was moving through the galaxy. It was not a ship, not a fleet, not an enemy. They had never seen anything like it. It was a force of nature, born from the collapse of the galaxy itself. This could destroy everything," Elena whispered, her face pale. "If it reaches Earth." Admiral Chen's hands clenched on the console. "Then we stop it. That's what we do. We adapt, we calculate, and we act." The humans worked quickly. Analysis teams calculated the trajectory of the chain reaction. Engineering teams modified ships and probes to test interventions. Communication teams coordinated every fleet across the galaxy. There was no panic. Humans didn't scream. They didn't fight blindly. They acted. On board the Horizon, Alina studied the energy readings. "We can manipulate the reaction using gravity pulses," she said. "It's risky, but we have no other choice. If we fail, Earth is gone." Chen nodded. "Prepare the fleet. Execute the plan. Humanity has survived worse than this. We won't fail now." Every ship moved into position. Calculations were double-checked. For the first time, humans were not observers. They were the galaxy's first line of defense. They were alone, but they were ready. Outside, the chain reaction approached like a silent storm. Stars collapsed into streams of energy, and space itself seemed to twist under the force. But humans did not flinch. They had prepared. They had learned. And now, for the first time in history, Earth was in the hands of a species that could not only survive a dying galaxy, but take control of it. As the first pulses of gravity waves hit, the humans activated their countermeasures. Lights flashed across the fleet. Instruments hummed with energy. Every calculation mattered. Every action could save the planet. And in that moment, humanity truly took control, not of what the aliens had left behind, but of their own destiny. The galaxy might have been falling, its civilizations gone, but Earth and its humans were ready to rise. The chain reaction was approaching Earth faster than anyone had predicted. Stars warped, energy waves rippled across space, and entire systems vanished in its wake. Millions of kilometers away, aboard the Earth flagship Horizon, Admiral Leela Chen and Dr. Elena Rivera watched the readings climb. Every heartbeat in the command center felt heavy with tension. "We have one chance," Chen said firmly, her eyes scanning the tactical displays. "We can't hesitate. Every calculation must be perfect." Elena nodded. "We've analyzed the patterns. The chain reaction follows a predictable path, and if we use gravity pulses in sequence, we can divert it. But it's risky. Any mistake could destroy the solar system." Around them, the fleet worked with silent intensity. Pilots maneuvered their ships into precise positions. Engineers prepared devices that could generate massive artificial gravity wells. Every team member understood their role. There was no panic. There was only focus. Humanity had faced chaos and survived, and now, for the first time, they were standing alone against the galaxy itself. Outside the observation windows, the stars twisted and bent. Light shimmered unnaturally as the chain reaction moved closer, a silent storm of energy and destruction. Every sensor aboard the ships pulsed with readings. Time felt compressed, every second stretching into eternity. "Ready the first pulse," Chen ordered. A ripple of energy shot from the first ship, bending the flow of the chain reaction slightly. The sensors hummed. A small change, but it worked. Elena and her team monitored the results. "Yes, yes! The path is shifting," she exclaimed. "Keep the sequence going," the fleet continued, each pulse carefully timed, each maneuver executed with precision. Ships fired energy wells in perfect harmony, bending the waves, redirecting the destructive force. The chain reaction responded, twisting and curving away from the solar system. For a moment, it seemed impossible. The energy was enormous, more powerful than any weapon humans had ever encountered. But humans had something no alien race had relied on: intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation. They worked as one, combining knowledge and courage, thinking faster and better than the galaxy had ever seen. Finally, the chain reaction missed the solar system. It passed by, still massive and powerful, but Earth was untouched. Cheers erupted in the control rooms. Pilots clapped, engineers hugged, scientists breathed deeply. Humanity had done what no other species could. They had survived the collapse of the galaxy. Chen leaned back, relief washing over her. "The galaxy may be gone," she said, "but we are still here, and now we are the strongest species." Elena looked out the window at the stars, some still collapsing, some darkened completely. "It's incredible," she whispered. "All those civilizations gone, and we survived. Not by luck, by thinking, by working together." Across the remaining systems, Earth began sending exploratory fleets to map the galaxy. Humans studied abandoned alien technology, unlocking secrets that had taken alien civilizations centuries to understand. Empty stations, silent warships, and derelict planets became laboratories and classrooms. Humanity learned faster than anyone expected, adapting alien knowledge for their own use. Back on Earth, people went about their lives, slowly noticing unusual stars and cosmic events. But unlike other species, humans were ready. Their scientists, military leaders, and explorers worked in unison. Every lesson learned, every calculation made, every careful plan had prepared them to survive when the galaxy itself had failed. For the first time, humans were not just a small species on a quiet planet. They were the rulers of a silent galaxy. Aliens would never again underestimate humanity. Their ingenuity, courage, and ability to act decisively had rewritten the rules of survival in space. As the sun set on Earth, Elena reflected on what had happened. The galaxy collapsed overnight. She thought, but Earth never got the message, and now humanity writes the rules of the stars. Above her, the stars were still dark in some regions, some systems vanished completely. But Earth shone like a beacon, alone but alive, the last surviving planet in a galaxy that had forgotten all others. Humans had not only survived, they had triumphed. And in the quiet that followed, a new chapter of the galaxy began, written not by alien empires or ancient councils, but by humans. Clever, courageous, and adaptable humans, the species that would shape the future of the stars. The galaxy might have fallen overnight, civilizations might have vanished, fleets might have been destroyed, but humanity endured, humanity survived, humanity rose, and from that moment, the universe would never forget them.